yes. Let's talk about Pastor Jamal Bryant. Yes. Pastor Jamal Bryant has announced his engagement. Now, he didn't get engaged. He announced this at his church in Atlanta on Sunday. He didn't get engaged on Sunday, but he announced it to the congregation. So this engagement must have happened fairly recently. I think his new fiance's name, right here, Carrie Turner, Pastor Carrie Turner. Now, this woman moved up through the ranks in his church very, very quickly. She went from, I think, like a children's church pastor and then became like the associate pastor of the church, which is basically like second in charge. So, there had been rumors about these two dating for some time. And so finally he came out in service and decided to let the whole church know that it's a real thing. Let you take a listen.
I wanted to marry her because I wanted her to be the moon, because I don't want there to be a night that I don't see her. I wanted her to be the sun, to be a reminder that the dark season of my life is over. I wanted her to be a rainbow, just to be a reminder that God's promise is still good for my life. And I wanted her to be the rain, to let me know that the harvest is coming. So for 5 years, you've just had a pastor. But going forward for the rest of my days, you're going to have a first lady. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Well, all right now. All right, Pastor. Honey, he is a smooth operator. I might account for all them extra babies he keep having. Ciao. Well, congratulations, Pastor Bryant and Pastor Turner. Pastor Turner is a very interesting woman. I'm going to put up a few photos for you guys. She's very, very, very beautiful. They've been calling her Giselle 2.0 because they're saying that she kind of resembles her. I think it's just the blonde hair. I don't really think Pastor Bryant has a type. This man has been all around the world in when it comes to women, okay? And unfortunately, he has stepped out on a prior marriage with Giselle Bryant and had affairs, outside babies, and even a recent outside baby, which allegedly was at the church service this day when he made this announcement. Another outside baby from recent years. I think the baby might be like a toddler. So, honey, you're going to have your hands full. But here are some pictures of Pastor Turner. She has a very interesting dress code, as you can see. You know, I understand times have changed, and, you know, pastors and church moms are not the church moms from the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s. Okay, I know that, you know, people are a lot more liberal with their dress, but, ooh, child, she dressed better than me when I go to the club, okay? And they call her the BBL pastor, you know, side action here. So both of these two seem to be a bit on the worldly side. So, you know, maybe he might have to watch out for her, honey, because this woman is rolling Nicki Minaj style, okay? Just real body yada yada, and she ain't afraid to show it off. So I don't know. I mean, I personally, like I said, I am from the Baltimore area, so I knew Pastor Jamal Bryant from back in the day when he had his church at Empowerment Temple. I had visited a few times. He's actually a very dynamic speaker. He's very, very, very good. And I enjoyed the service. You know, however, my antenna started going up when I noticed there will be lines and lines of women after church service lining up just to say goodbye to him after church. He would leave. At the time, Empowerment Temple was located at Coppin State University's auditorium. This is while he was waiting for the Empowerment Temple to be built on the, I think it was the eastern side of Maryland. So at the time, you know, he had a temporary location until that church was built. So anyway, after service would be over, women would line up to shake his hand and say goodbye and give him a hug and whatever. And it was so bad because they you know, these women were so freaking just all up in this man's face that he had to have security guards on each of his side, kind of like Can Child, to make certain that, you know, nothing crazy happened, and they didn't get too, over the top with it. But I mean, the line would stretch from the back, the entrance door into the auditorium where service was being held, all the way down to where the stage was, where he actually originally was preaching. So it was this line was so long, and I was like, and it would be nothing but women, no men in the line, just women. Okay. In fact, whenever I would go visit the church, it was populated with 90 to 95% women. Only men really I ever saw were the men that were working for him, that were working at the church. Outside of that, the auditorium was filled with women. So he got a lot of attention, and it started to turn me off a little bit because I felt like it just felt really inappropriate. And this was, I think this was towards the end of he and Giselle's marriage, or right after he had gotten caught with the whole cheating incident and the outside baby that he had on her. So from that point on, I had visited the church for like maybe a month or two, and I decided I can't do this anymore because something is not right in the buttermilk up in this joint. These women are out here flocking, and I remember Giselle, and don't quote me on this either, allegedly told a story about how one woman, I think, that he was cheating with, had approached her in the ladies' room of the church, basically challenging her over her husband. Okay, so it was that kind of energy. Okay, it was a hot mess. Now I don't know what kind of man Jamal is today. However, he's in Atlanta now. He's at another church. He's doing his ministry for God, but they have also seen him out at the clubs smoking hookah. So I don't know how that all correlates. In fact, let me see. Do we have a picture of Jamal Bryant at the club smoking hookah? At club smoking hookah. I think, I think there are some images out here of, yes, Jamal Bryant at the club smoking hookah right here. So I don't know how all this correlates with who he is being the man of God of today, but who am I to judge? God judges us in the end, and I guess he'll have to, explain this. Like, what kind of music were you listening to, Mr. Bryant, when you were smoking that hookah? Was it the Winans? Or was it Yolanda Adams? Or were you listening to Chris Brown? I'm just saying. Well, we haven't heard anything from Giselle regarding these new nuptial announcements, but I'm sure she needs something for a storyline on Potomac. So I'm sure this situation will wiggle its way into one of the Potomac or two of the Potomac episodes. However, I've been hearing word on the curb she's not doing too well now that she doesn't have her lapdog sidekick Robin Nixon, or whatever her last name is. She was so unmemorable, I don't even remember her last name. Dixon, that's it. She doesn't have her sidekick to help her through scene to scene and bullying the rest of the girls, and now ironically Giselle has become the outcast of the group. So she's having a hard time filming this season, and she probably won't be there next year if she doesn't get her shit together. But that's a whole nother video, honey. And I will be reviewing the next season of Housewives of Potomac, since I live close by to them. And hopefully I'll have some exclusive tea for y'all, since I am literally steps away. But anywho, you guys, good luck to you, Jamal. And Dr. Turner, you gonna need it, girl. Moving on.